I stood in their hallway, the smell of cinnamon and pine wrapping around me like a lie. My son's small hand tightened in mine. He had dressed himself for tonight. Red sweater, hair combed flat, eyes bright. He thought Christmas at his grandparents' house meant magic. He didn't yet understand what betrayal looked like when it wore a smile. And then I saw them. My sister's 3 children. Running, laughing, tearing through the house like they owned it. Stockings with their names above the fireplace. Presents spilling out beneath the tree. I asked one simple question. Why are they here? My mother didn't flinch. She just said, as if it were the most natural thing in the world, because these children deserve to be here. And in that instant, something inside me froze. My son deserved less, apparently. My son was disposable. My blood was unwelcome, while my sister's children were celebrated. I didn't argue. Not yet. I let silence hang in the air while every detail burned itself into memory. The lights, the smugness in my mother's voice, my father pretending to busy himself with carving meat instead of looking at me, my sister smirking like she had already won. They thought I'd swallow it. They thought I'd smile through the insult, the way I always had. But this time, I didn't. I was always the reliable one, the daughter who handled things, the one who paid their medical bills, the one who funded my sister's tuition when she flunked out of her first program, the one who wrote checks when unexpected expenses appeared. I thought family loyalty meant sacrifice. I thought support was proof of love. And when I became a mother, I still gave. Even with daycare bills and sleepless nights, I carried them. Because that's what they had taught me, that my worth came from what I provided. But I also believed, foolishly, that love would be returned. That when I showed up with my son, they would see him as part of me. That they would open their arms the way they opened mine when I was small. I was wrong. The cracks had been forming for years. Comments about how my sister needed the help more. About how my son was too sensitive, about how I was too controlling as a mother. Small slights, easily dismissed. But this Christmas, this moment, was the slap that turned whispers into screams. I wasn't paranoid, I wasn't overreacting. They had chosen sides, and it wasn't mine. I stood in that hallway, their words echoing, "These children deserve to be here." And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel powerless. I felt clarity. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't storm out. I simply told my son, "We're leaving." He looked confused, disappointed, but he trusted me. I walked him back to the car while my family barely registered the sound of the door closing. And in the quiet drive home, my decision sharpened. No confrontation tonight. No begging for equality. Revenge doesn't come from shouting. It comes from silence, from removing the lifeline so slowly they don't realize they're suffocating until it's too late. Step 1. And the money. I handled their mortgage payments, their utilities when things got tight, my father's medication co-pays, my sister's endless requests for just a little more. I knew exactly what they needed. And I knew how quickly things would collapse without me. So I stopped. No announcement, no warning. Automatic payments canceled, accounts closed. When the bills started stacking, they would call me. And they did. Step 2. Exposure. My family had always portrayed themselves as pillars of generosity. Church dinners, charity drives, holiday photos where everyone looked perfectly united. I had receipts, bank transfers, emails, messages begging for help, and I let them surface, one by one, through people they tried hardest to impress, their friends, their pastor, their neighbors. Step 3. Control the silence. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. When they confronted me, I gave them nothing. A cold smile, a single phrase.
You said my son didn't deserve to be there, and now you don't deserve me. The cracks widened fast. The mortgage defaulted. Their power was shut off once. My father's prescriptions went unfilled until the church charity stepped in. My sister's kids were pulled from their extracurriculars when tuition wasn't paid. And the looks changed. That smugness faded into desperation. My sister's calls turned from arrogant demands to pleading sobs. My mother, the one who had declared my son unworthy, left me a voicemail whispering, "We didn't mean it that way. You know we love him." But it was too late. They wanted to play favorites, so I let them live with the consequences of losing mine. 3 months later, I returned, not to reconcile, but to witness. They invited me, desperate, promising a family talk. I arrived with my son again. He had grown since Christmas, taller, more aware. He looked at their dimly lit, half-furnished home and asked, "What happened?" I didn't answer. I let them explain.